the brooms out, people. You know what? We are not cleaning any rooms out here. We are headed to the land of Phoenix and we are sweeping the Suns out of the playoffs. That's what Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves boys just showed us.
Out of here.
Clearly out of here. Yeah, welcome to the Postback Show where all the playoff action talk is right here. My name is Slimo. I'm joined by Teddy and we are ready to discuss what the Timberwolves just did to the Phoenix Suns. And in my word, it was just like, there's no word that can describe what just happened in that series. 4-game winning streak. They beat them in straight 4 games. A team that had Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. A team that had 3 future Hall of Famers. Come on. Kevin Durant, you can't go out like this. You can't leave Steph Curry, go to the Brooklyn Nets, get swept there, go to the Phoenix Suns, get swept there again. Come on. You are giving these Curry and the Warriors fans too much fuel. Too much fuel and energy. I mean, what a series this one was. And I think this is just reminding everybody how good the Timberwolves are.
Very, very, very good. And when they dropped in the standings, people were like, are they falling short? But then they've actually come true for us. And then I didn't expect it to be a sweep, maybe a gentleman's sweep, but then
you know the most funny thing? It's a sweep, but in the regular season, they didn't win a single game against the Suns.
You see, I had this notion where I'm like, regular season matchups or wins, it's very important. And then they lose against the Suns in the regular season, come postseason, and then now it's like the Suns just cannot. It's
Maybe
serious.
the only viable explanation is in a few of those games there was no Karl Anthony Towns. So maybe the Timberwolves went at full strength in the regular season. Now in the playoffs they had full strength, and the Suns they literally couldn't deal with anybody on the Timberwolves. I mean, we even did watch Anthony Edwards in the post-match interview, and he was like, all he had to tell Karl Anthony Towns was, do not get in foul trouble, because they have a matchup problem with you. They do not have anybody in that front court who could guard Karl Anthony Towns, and that's the gospel truth. I mean, they put KD on him, nothing worked. Royce O'Neal tried, it didn't work. Josh Okogie, he saved Nurkic. Like, he was literally everywhere, but of course, I mean, it's a well-deserved win for the Suns.
You see, it's sad because once you put, I think on multiple possessions, they put KD on Ant, and then they put Nurkic on Rudy. Who is guarding the other big man?
Exactly.
Now they switch up and then they put KD on Cat. Now you put Rudy on Nurkic. Who is guarding Ant? It's like there's always that one player who is left out. I don't trust Bill. Bill hasn't been one of the best defenders.
He was one of the most underperformers.
Booker is not one of the best defenders. I don't trust Grayson Allen, who even went out to be one of the best. So it's like the team was so much, and I feel like Coach Vogel was out-coached, because when there were on multiple occasions where it was like he was punching holes in the Wolves of defense, but then right after they call the timeout, they come back, he has fixed it. Finch has fixed it, and he kept doing it each and every time, and it was so amazing to watch.
I mean, speaking of the coaching aspect, I'm of the notion that Coach Vogel didn't perform in his first year, but I don't want to put too much blame on him because Coach Vogel is one of the best defensive coaches in the league, and I feel like he didn't have the defensive personnel to do that kind of work. If we look back on the Indiana Pacers with Paul George, he had Paul George who had that star caliber in defending. When you look back on the 2018 Lakers that did win with Frank Vogel, he had the defensive personnel of Anthony Davis. Who's he to rely on here? Probably maybe Kevin Durant, but he's old. He can't give you that on defense. I feel like maybe he didn't have enough to put his defensive structure on the team. But hey, no excuses. Because when you get 3 guys, and I know Bradley Beal, he can't also leave next season. 50 million contract, you have to be there for around 3 years. I mean, Matt Ishbia, the Phoenix Suns owner, he's in huge trouble. I don't know if now they trade Kevin Durant or they look to do something else. But we've got to go to the winning side. I mean, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Before I even go to Anthony Edwards, there's 2 guys that we need to highlight on. Jaden McDaniels and Nicole Alexander-Walker. The job they did on Devin Booker was world class. I mean, in the final game, Devin Booker did drop 49. But come on. They limited him throughout the whole of the series. They made him work for his shots. I mean, Nicole Alexander-Walker coming from the bench was excellent. Jaden McDaniels, of course, gave them the production that they needed. But the big question was, in the half court, could Jaden McDaniels produce? And I mean, in game 2 and game 3, he was huge for them. Now, finally, Anthony Edwards, there were huge doubts about him. Last year and the previous seasons as well, he shot 30% from 3. This year, there's an uptick in it. It's going to almost 40%. It just tells you the confidence this guy's got in his ability. But on the defensive end, I mean, KD, Booker, Bradley Beal. Every single time KD goes on the scoring run,
dog on them.
Anthony Edwards will say, all right, I've got KD. If this guy goes on the scoring run, all right, give me Devin Booker. Like, the energy that he just exudes was crazy for the Timberwolves.
And KD also said, I think last season or last 2 seasons, that offenses win games.
We have to go back to this tweet.
I think it's something he so believes, because when you look at how he assembles, in quotes, assembles his teams, you realize he's more of offensive power than defense, or thinking about role players. Let's go back to Nets. You had the big three: Harden, Kyrie, and himself. Look at the role players he had. He literally had no one. Look at who was playing center for them. Nick Claxton. One of the worst.
Bruce Brown at the time, Joe Harris.
And for that kind of caliber of that caliber of team, you don't need Nick Claxton.
But I mean, on the Brooklyn Nets, it did work. If it wasn't for KD's foot on the line and a lot of injuries, they would have probably won the championship.
It's one of those where the offense was so good that it just covered up for some of the mishaps of the role players.
But I mean, you know why the offense was so good? Because they had players who fit the rules
so much.
And look at this system here. There's Bradley Beal. There's Booker. All these guys are two guards. Nobody plays the point guard role. But that time they had James Harden who could play there. So here there was like the confusion of you playing Devin Booker somewhere where he's not comfortable. He can play the role, but he won't be at his best. So maybe that's why.
And I feel like when he enters a new team and then maybe he's assembling the super team, he should at least think about role players, because role players are so important.
You know he doesn't assemble everybody. He just gets the stars.
No, but then,
it's up to the GM to be doing those.
He has a say.
He does have a say, but it's up to the GM and the coach to say, okay, we've got Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, this guy. Hey, let's go for these role players that can actually impact the game on defense. And they kind of did that with Joshua. No, I think Joshua Kogi was already there. Royce O'Neal, Bobo, who they also acquired. It was just not enough for them. But exactly. Now, the main question now for Kevin Durant is how much does this hurt his legacy? And when we speak of Kevin Durant, a lot of people have different opinions about his legacy. Let me know what you think of Kevin Durant's legacy. But I mean, you were with the Thunder, the Warriors beat you, you went to the Warriors, you won 2 championships with them, and now you had the fight with Draymond Green. Draymond Green said they could win without you. They did win without you.
True.
And now without Stephen Curry, you've been swept twice. You haven't made it to like the second round of the playoffs in a while. The legacy, I mean, he's already cemented his legacy as one of the best players of all time.
Hall of Fame.
But the way he's going out isn't the best for me. I think that's where it hampers his legacy.
It's so bad. And GSW wouldn't have gone over that LeBron hump without him. He wouldn't have won the championship. He wouldn't have won the championship.
I'm sure the Warriors fans would think otherwise.
He wouldn't have won the championship without GSW. But then the question now is KD really a leader? Is he really a number 1 option on the team?
Hey, what a question!
No.
I didn't know we're getting here. I didn't know we're getting here at all.
The trajectory of where things are going, it's legit to argue this. Is he really a number 1 option on the team?
Wait, are you saying this due to his age?
No, not due to his age, due to his performance.
In recent times.
Because
mind you, the regular season was great.
No, you see, I'm talking more of the success as leading a team himself. Because when he was at GSW, obviously it was Steph Curry's team. But then he left and then he led Nets. It was Steph Curry's team. But it literally became KD's team for those 2 years because he was finals MVP every single time. So he was the best player on the team.
But he led them. He
wasn't the leader. He wasn't. You see,
but I mean, if you say leader, fine, because there are different types of leaders. Yeah. But if you use the word number 1 option on a championship team, I think it's still very big. Yes, for me, that's why I disagree with you. Honestly,
you see, it's arguable. Like it's arguable when you watch the trajectory of him after leaving GSW. It's like, is he really a number 1 option on the championship team? Because what he's doing, swept 2 times. It's just not working.
But yeah,
at this point, just go back to your big brother Steph Curry. I think.
Hey, Charlie.
Because they said they still want to win. Keep the core. Just join them. Put your pride aside and just go win there.
It could be interesting, and that's what the playoff basketball is bringing. Of course, the Pullback Show, we are here to walk you through everything that happens every step of the way. And I mean, the start has been electric. Stay tuned to the channel. There's more videos on there for you to enjoy about the 2024 playoffs.